The recent 370-kilometer nature walk unveiled disturbing revelations. The uneven forest distribution in Uganda currently stands at its worst. This may lead to irreparable damage to the environmental upgrade struggle if left unchecked. Some regions are kept in the dark. They waste time and effort painstakingly urging masses to plant more trees that shall simply never grow. Testimonies and assertions have led to this special report findings.
Why there are more trees in the west than the east is basically the east for the past 20 plus years has been planting wrong tree species.
The firm position held by Kabarole District Natural Resources Officer Godfrey Ruyonga sounds wild but raises attention. Ruyonga is an environmental expert managing an own artificial forest with 160 tree species for education and research. He undertook the initiative after an early retirement from his job as a lecturer.
This nursery has been there for now 9 years, so we raise all sorts of seedlings in our nursery. But mainly, we raise them for own planting.
A guarantee of continued existence of life on planet Earth is hinged on the well-being of environment, but the damage is already done. Trees are an alternative to reversing the situation. They step down the temperatures, dissolve harmful greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. Trees maintain a continuous wetting of the Earth's surface by sucking water out of the soils through the root. The excess water is released in form of vapor through the small pores on the leaves. The condensed water vapor added to the normal moisture in the atmosphere. Upon saturation, drops back in form of rain. The more the trees, the more the advantages. Tropical rainforests are the reason the western region of Uganda naturally receives a high amount of rainfall. Nevertheless, artificial forests are also mushrooming in the area, and for some reason, there was hardly a truck seen to be ferrying charcoal during the 9-day nature walk from Kampala to Kasese.
I come from the east, and when you compare the east and this western region, especially Kabarole, where we are right now, these are two different countries. One thing for sure is, any part of this country can improve. Tree planting can be done everywhere.
Trees also, naturally, there's natural selection. They prefer certain areas to others. Others may grow in the savanna area, others may grow in the areas which receive a lot of rainfall and so on and so forth.
Whereas the east and north of the country are general savanna, the near absence of any forest has more to do with unnatural conditions.
For us in the eastern, we don't have enough rainfall to allow trees to grow. So what happens is that because of the weather, which is a bit hot, it allows termites to attack. Termites infestation is high in eastern Uganda, and most of the trees that are planted are destroyed.
What was missing is species site matching. Because a tree can be good, but if it's planted in the wrong site, in the wrong place, without supporting climate, supporting soils, and supporting environment, it won't grow well. So the East needs to pick those species that can suit their area very well for them to have the same as we have in the West.
Zonation of the country is claimed to have been done 10 years ago, but the emptiness on ground depicts how much is implemented.
So the zoning is there, but I think our responsibility is to ensure that everybody who wants to plant trees is informed on which trees are best for planting where. Because we would not like you to plant eucalyptus or other trees that take a lot of water near water.
Those days, we used to have muvule trees along major roads, which are majorly constructed during the Kungulu days. Most of these muvule trees were cut down without any replacement.
You have to agree with the communities or the farmers what type of tree species the farmer wants. Because in most cases, people plant trees for sale, either timber or firewood or poles. But for our case here, people favor planting of eucalyptus.
Consequently, multiplication of the resourceful artificial forests is hard and has exacerbated the destruction of the few standing forests.
On my right hand is Busia district, and on the left side is Bugiri district. We are in Buduma A village, a typical example of how human beings have destroyed environment. We are told some time back, close to 10 years ago, this hill over here was full of trees, just as where we are. This place has freshly been cultivated for agriculture. Some of the factors have led to the drying of the stream over down there, which in 2007, to the shock of the communities over here, dried.
Gimukelo yeno tongo ajibel matoti kafuri. Amenyo amina no weta gino tekiteke. Masame tipungo emapinyalo timonedi bedi iya. Same wati atituolo.
Era juzi nkuba yagwa safari satu. Lio kama zaga atandiko kuyita. Bade tulivu vinyo.
You know the problem around that area, Usitema and surrounding areas. People don't have trees on their own. So even 2 weeks ago, I was there and I saw communities even carrying firewood and so on from that area. That is a very big challenge, but we are doing our best to make sure that we protect that forest.
The consequences of the trend are dire, and the threat could be felt beyond the borders of Uganda. First, to the states directly sharing common resources like the waters of the Nile and Lake Victoria, including Uganda, South Sudan, Sudan, Egypt, Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, Burundi, Rwanda, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. The drying streams are usually tributaries to the main rivers and lakes.
One time last year, Guru, the Oitino Dam dried up, and we are basically not able to supply water to the town of Guru.
The wrath of climatic change is real, and here, maintaining the status quo shall only worsen the situation. In 2010, over 100 people were killed by landslide in a massive village, Bududa district. Shortly after, River Nyamwamba burst its banks, killing and displacing residents. The prolonged dry spells and unpredictable weather conditions in 2007 left the once proud food basket of Africa with the rather humiliating option of depending on food donations.
I must say the situation of hunger is worrying.
We are not about to see an end to environmental destruction, though. There is a lucrative chunk of business on the boom at the Uganda-Kenya border district of Busia that now threatens to wipe out the few last trees standing. The vigilance of espionage and hostility towards strangers betrays the hidden kill embedded in charcoal deals at Sophia Market. It took approximately 4 hours of tactical planning on how to capture on camera the risky charcoal dealings ferried by gigantic road movers. It's a trade of souls in exchange for cash. Ironically, it's the tight restriction measure against charcoal burning in Kenya that has resulted into this boom that threatens to deplete forests from the reluctant neighboring countries. The price tag for charcoal is equivalent to a Ugandan passport. Amazingly, the charcoal here comes from the already highly deforested eastern northern areas of Teso, Lango, and Acholi sub-regions. The national and local authorities are in a dilemma on finding the means to curtail the vice.
If you're telling people not to use charcoal, give them another alternative way of survival. If I'm getting money daily from charcoal burning, then tell me that you can actually engage further in using this to get money and get out of charcoal burning.
Statistical data from the National Forest Authority indicates 100,000 to 200,000 hectares of forest are destroyed annually in Uganda. Sadly, a mere 50,000 hectares, which is approximately a quarter of the destroyed forests, is planted annually, most of which actually never grow in the eastern northern parts of Uganda. Today, the human activities are responsible for the rapid drop of the forest cover to 10%, up from 18% in 2005 and 24% in 1990 of the total surface cover of Uganda. To avert the consequences of the forest destruction, deliberate measures must be undertaken to step up the rate at which trees are planted so as to match or even surpass the level of destruction.
The remaining 70% is managed by the private people, yourself inclusive, myself. That land on people's lands within the communities. That one makes up 70%. Yes. So now, in other words, NFA manages about 15%, Uganda Welfare Authority about 15% in terms of area, of the forested areas. Then the rest is within the communities.
Persuading and supporting owners of idle land with tree seedlings and an assurance of an extra pay for each of the trees left to mature could be an alternative effort in restoring forests. Ultimately, that artificial forests will cater for timber and wood fuel to households. Onyango Jackson, UBC TV.